Cowan Antenna Systems does antenna design for aircraft, so helicopters and fixed-wing platforms. So we do all kinds of electronic boxes, so radios, transmitters, receivers, direction-finding antennas. So I focus on the kind of electronic side of that, doing high-speed digital and RF and that kind of thing. I think I've always wanted to do engineering. It's that really interesting thing of working on interesting problems, problem solving, kind of a little bit of maths and science in there as well. And electronics, it's something you can have a real impact on. Rather than working on some big system like designing, buildings or something like that where you'll be working on a tiny area, electronics, you can really look after a whole project and you can have your own section of the system. And it's something you can make a real difference to one project. Electronics is something you can very much tinker with, and you can be designing whole circuits and playing around with bits of wire and light bulbs, and it's very satisfying. And you can really see the results of what you're doing. People decide what they're going to do at a really young age, say probably before they start secondary school. So they decide, I want to take this career path, they take their GCSEs and they say, what am I going to drop? And I think it's probably at a young age that you need to get people. And probably if by the age of 12 they think an engineer is coming along and fixing a boiler or doing plumbing and real hands-on engineering that isn't exciting and new and creative, they're not going to pick that route. And I think that's probably the time when you have to get them. And if they haven't been convinced of the subject by then, they're not going to pick it. There's something quite satisfying about doing system design of specifying all the areas and kind of designing complete systems. It's always really interesting looking after a project from cradle to grave from the beginning, the coming up with the ideas, the development. So probably some kind of research and development, designing products and getting them into the market. I think the interesting thing about engineering is it is something you really can get hands-on in. And I've always done it as a hobby in tinkering around and designing little bits of circuit. And I think that's one of the really important things, is it's something people can get involved in. Especially now there's so much out there with resources for Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and all that kind of thing. Anyone, for not a lot of money, can get started and then just spend hours learning a huge amount and doing a huge amount outside the curriculum and getting interested that way. It's really, really kind of inspiring to see a load of young people all in a massive variety of fields. So I always find it really interesting that at school you're one of the sciencey people and then you pick electronics and then you pick kind of engineering, that goes into electronics, and then in electronics that field splits again massively. So here we're all in completely different areas but we're all doing the same fields, and it's really interesting seeing so much variety.